Welcome to the Folklore of Taylor Swift, a 101 course on the lore surrounding the pop phenomenon. This episode will focus on Taylor Swift's self-titled first album, which fans have taken to calling debut. If you haven't already, please watch the first episode of this series, which covers Taylor's early life up to her signing with Scott Borchetta and Big Machine Records in 2005. Taylor spent 2005 to 2006 recording, performing, and promoting her first album. Here's one of the first interviews she gave and a preview of many songs off debut.
Thanks. I think it's too thin. I need more hair.
Hair talk at Hendersonville High is a serious subject for 15-year-old Taylor Swift, considering her hair and face are already in national magazine ads and coming soon to the cover of her first big record.
Everything that we should be. I'll bet she's beautiful. That girl that talks about. And she's got everything that I have to live without.
She came to Nashville last year writing her own songs, singing them, and hoping someone would like them. We visited Taylor a year ago at Hendersonville High when we thought her talent was special.
In case you haven't heard, you're just another picture to buy.
Now, a year later, Music Row agrees. Her first record comes out in a few months. She'll tour and start the career she says she's been working for her entire life. All 15 years of it.
Most people find out what they're going to do when they're in college, and that's great, you know? But I guess for me, it just came a little earlier, and I'm so thankful for that because this happens to be a dream come true for me.
A dream that comes with her own soundtrack.
Taylor's very first single, Tim McGraw, was released in June 2006 ahead of her album. She wrote the first draft of the song in just 15 minutes and later workshopped it with Liz Rose. It's about a boy she dated as a freshman who was a senior. When he left for college, she didn't want him to forget about her or the music that they loved together.
Putting out my first single was just such a cool experience because I just didn't know what was going to happen. I remember putting the physical CD singles into envelopes to mail out to radio with my mom. I got to go on radio tour. And you hear tour, you think tour bus? No, rental car, Taurus, me in the back seat.
Hi, baby.
How's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I brought you cookies.
Sure did. Look at that.
Going from radio station to radio station to radio station, and every time I would go into a new radio station, I would play in the conference room for a couple of DJs, and I would beg them to put me on the air, and it worked.
Liz Rose, who I've mentioned before, is the first of many key collaborators we'll look at. She is a country music songwriter who first began working with Taylor through the RCA development deal. They began meeting for 2-hour writing sessions every Tuesday after school. Rose thought the sessions were, quote, some of the easiest I've ever done. Basically, I was just her editor. She'd write about what happened in school that day. She had such a clear vision of what she was trying to say, and she'd come in with the most incredible hooks, end quote. Because of Liz's work on All Too Well, 10-minute version, Taylor's version, we got a reunion pic of the pair at the 2023 Grammys. The album, Taylor Swift, was released on October 24th, 2006, when she was just 16 years old. This essentially marked the beginning of her junior year of high school. From the jump, Taylor was leaving Easter eggs for her fans to find.
And one of the things that I did was I encoded all these secret messages into every song lyric. And it sounds really complicated, but it's not.
Right.
All the letters are lowercase except for random capitalized letters.
Right.
All throughout the song. So if you're reading the lyrics and you're like, why is that A capitalized? It's because it's part of a code.
It's a code.
And if you write down all the letters in order, it'll spell out a code about the song or just, who the song's about or a name of who the song's about.
Of a certain guy, maybe?
By December, Taylor wrote in her journal, quote, "Let's see, life is pretty good. I am now obsessed with Law and Order, completely obsessed, and my album's about to go gold. Haven't kissed a boy in 209 days." Her next single was Teardrops on My Guitar, also co-written with Liz Rose. She wrote this song for a boy named Drew that she had a crush on, but who never noticed her. Early success also brought opportunities to open up for big country stars, including her idol, Faith Hill. In the 2023 Times Person of the Year profile, Taylor shared a powerful story about how she was supposed to open for Kenny Chesney's 2007 tour. After being booked for this high-profile spot, Chesney's team had to cancel her because the tour was going to be sponsored by a beer company and Taylor couldn't perform since she was underage. Quote, "But some months later at Taylor Swift's 18th birthday party, she saw Chesney's promoter. He handed her a card from Chesney that read, as Swift recalls, 'I'm sorry that you couldn't come on the tour, so I wanted to make it up to you.' With the note was a check. It was for more money than I'd ever seen in my life," Swift says. "I was able to pay my band bonuses. I was able to pay for my tour buses. I was able to fuel my dreams." End quote. We'll see how this fueled her dreams, especially when we talk about the Fearless era. Swift wrote the next single, Our Song, for a high school talent show during 9th grade. It's one of 3 songs that she has solo writing credit for on her first album. It peaked at 16 on the Billboard 100 and became huge due to its popularity on social media, particularly MySpace. The next single, Picture to Burn, was written about an ex who treats his new girlfriend much better than he treated Taylor. The music video plays out a dramatic, vengeful fantasy that is very fun to watch and features Abigail Anderson.
This is a song, before I play it live, I always tell people, first of all, I want everybody to know before I play the song that I really do try to be a nice person. But if you break my heart or hurt my feelings or are really mean to me, I'm going to write a song about you.
I think this interview gives us key insights into Taylor's philosophy when it comes to writing songs about other people that may be seen as negative. Then Should Have Said No, the last song she wrote for the album, was also its last single. The music video was a live performance she gave at the CMA Awards with 2 of Taylor's favorite things, costume changes and rain. She would later recreate this performance on the Fearless tour. Another key collaborator was her producer, Nathan Chapman. This was the first album that he'd ever produced.
I had been working with this demo producer named Nathan Chapman, who worked, it was actually a shack. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I loved the demos that we made together. You know, so I went in and I tried it with a lot of different people who are awesome, and it just wasn't that same magic that I got with my demo producer who worked in a shack. And so after a lot of begging and pleading, I got my label to agree to let Nathan Chapman produce my entire first album, and he has worked on every single album that I've done since, including 1989.
In addition to producing, Nathan Chapman recorded a vast majority of the instruments you hear on Debut. A theme that you'll notice with Taylor is that she consistently gives great artists the chance to do something for the first time. In the case of Nathan Chapman, to produce an album. To wrap up this era, here are some of Taylor's early fashion looks at country award shows. And Taylor at her very first Grammys. She lost Best New Artist to Amy Winehouse, but she had predicted that in interviews leading up to the show. Here's a recap of all the awards Taylor won for her first album. Most notably, the Horizon Award at the CMAs and New Female Vocalist of the Year at the ACMs. With Taylor, you'll hear fans talk about the aesthetic of each era, and here's what I'd include in Debut. It's dresses with cowboy boots, it's acoustic guitar, it's long flowing hair in a field, and it's the color green. That is the debut era of Taylor Swift, a successful first foray into music as a country artist. As much as folks remember the cowboy boots and the butterflies, this era was also marked by Taylor's tenacity to build the career she wanted. Find links below to the music videos referenced, additional interviews, and resources about this time period. The next episode will look at the Fearless era, where she became a crossover smash success and experienced the highs and lows that came with it. Follow Folklore and Fantasy on YouTube and Instagram so you don't miss anything. Thank you.